Whoops. All right, guys, welcome to a weekend AMA. Sometimes a weekly AMA. No, happens every week, but not necessarily on the weekend. But as always, welcome. We take this time to answer some questions, talk about what you want to talk about, do a little bit of mentoring because I think it's important. I really do. Not only for my growth, but for yours. And yeah, I am drinking some of you who don't know, one thing that I've done in the past, I've been doing it for about a month, is I have a month as of late. I've done a lot longer than that, but some fresh juicing in the morning. So we are drinking a wonderful concoction of kale, cucumber, celery, tangerine, and arugula and spinach. It's so good. No, it's not that bad. But it is a little bit of brain food. It also helps me drink less caffeine. So that's always helpful. You know, your boy struggles with drinking too much caffeine. You'll notice I have the blinds up. I told it. April, I was like, yeah, baby, they're going to see these blinds and be like, oh, man. Those are some nice blinds you put up. Let me see if you can see the rod. They look much better when they're not actually closed. But I told April I'd dedicate the AMA to her for putting up the blinds since I've been a tad bit busy. Vodka, no, it's too early for vodka. At least at 9 a.m. I think 9 a.m. is too early. What app can I use to make an Android app with React that is robust? I think you're looking for React Native as the framework that you want to use. What's going on? I actually have been decided that I'm going to be building out a Ionic app for my very first launched web application. So that's going to be what my similar path will be. I'm going to start today. I got to go and finish up a solid tutorial for Monday, and then I'm going to from there, I'll go ahead and continue to work on my app and YouTube channel, all that sort of stuff. You're starting to learn about the software development life cycle in college. All this stuff that you're saying about sprints and Scrum and work makes sense. So good, man. I want to learn animations for web application. What is the best? Just build some stuff, man. Usually for animation specifically, you know, you usually just practice. Just get passionate, practice, build some stuff. Say, hey, man, this is a nice site. Do some research. There's a lot of good blogs that cover CSS really well. But yeah, just practice. Get comfortable with it. No, just native CSS animations. You don't need any JavaScript to do animations. Yeah. You're not going to learn animations by using the jQuery animation library. That's someone that learned animations, built a library for it to make it easy so that you didn't have to learn animations. jQuery exists so people didn't have to learn JavaScript and native DOM manipulation. What I think would be better for creating a personal blog, WordPress or from scratch? I mean, if it's about the blog, I mean, to get up and running, WordPress is going to be easy, right? It's already built out. You don't have to worry about it. But if you build a project from scratch, you have something to show, and you'll probably learn a lot in the process as well. Do I plan on doing any more React tutorials? Not unless my work switches to React, which I don't think we have any plans to. I don't like React, man. Um, I it's just not something that's ever been appealing to me. I've tried to like it, and I don't like how they manage state. There's a lot of things I don't like React, and it so probably not. You never know though. My next big hurdle is C#.NET Ionic, and that's sort of what I'm going to be, and SQL probably. That's probably going to be what I'll be focusing on in terms of what projects I'll be building. Good morning, Josh. Good morning, Nazareth. I got it. I remember this time. Do I watch anime? Yeah. I'm currently watching season 2 of The 7 Deadly Sins on Netflix. It's absolutely horrendous. At least the first 8 episodes. It's one of those anime series that, like, not all anime is for children. This one is. The first season I felt like wasn't as bad, but the second season's horrendous. But yeah, My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan were the two that I was watching most recently. Would I buy individual courses to learn web development, or do complete web development courses? Do them both. I know it's not really the answer question you're asking, but the more the merrier. I think a deep dive into stuff is great. I also think general things are great because you're probably going to pick up things in both. I'm just saying it's made for children, but I don't know. So the way that you can tell a show is made for children, this is how you can tell, is when the actual character says what they are doing and not showing you what they are doing. What I mean by that is you have a character that is very, like, they'll literally say why they're doing their action. My heart is so crushed. What am I going to do? Instead of just letting the scene play out. And that's because the children can't pick up on subtleties through the series because they haven't developed those keen senses yet. And so in that sense, that cheesy sort of I have to pronounce what I'm doing soap opera type thing, those are the animes that are made for children. That's what I mean by that. Yeah. Do you think a MacBook Pro is worth it to fasten the process of becoming a developer? I'll say this. I've said this many times. The laptop and software you use has zero effect on if you're a good developer or not. What advice do I have people for in high school? Start a side project. Start a side project today and work on it until you have a job. That's my advice. Everyone should have a side project. Everyone. And if you can relate it to something you're passionate about, great. If you can relate it to what your career choice is, great. An actual side project. I'm not talking about like building a calculator. No, I'm talking about a long-term side project, something that you're going to put 3 to 4 years into. Can I build a desktop app with HTML, JavaScript, and CSS? Sort of. You have to use Electron, which is kind of a framework that helps you do that. It's not going to be a native desktop app. It's essentially going to be an iframe that lets you open a page. You can think of it that way. What do I think working at a small startup is first-time software engineering job? I think you'll be exposed to a lot. And I also think you shouldn't be too picky when it comes to your first engineering job. How good should a developer's English be to be functional? Well, probably it depends if you're working with native English speakers. If you are, the better, the more the better. I've had to work with developers where English wasn't their first language, and oftentimes it just resulted in no work getting done. Development and being on part of a team, a crucial part of that is communication. A very, very crucial part of that. So, should you continue with PHP startups? If you want to, I mean, I don't know. I stay away from PHP, man. I get jobs offered me for PHP, and I said no, thank you, every single time. And it's pretty easy because most PHP jobs pay less than any other roles in my domain. So money's not everything, but if you like working in PHP, work in PHP, man. Laravel makes it easy. It's all easy, bro. What are you gonna do when Laravel's gone? Because they're just frameworks, right? I work in Angular now, but Angular's not always going to be here. React's not always going to be here. Vue, maybe I'll be in Vue next week. It doesn't matter. I've worked with people who are Oracle database admins and things like that. I can't really speak to their job though. What is the best front-end JS framework for freelancing? Whichever one they're going to pay you to do, but they don't care. Whichever one you can get the most work done quickly, which is probably Vue. What year of college do you think that a CS electrical engineering student should try to get an internship? Every year. Day one. Out of high school, you should try to get internships. And more than that, you should start a project. Build a project. It will do so much more for you. And you know what? When you have that project, when you're like, oh, hey, look at this awesome site I made, web application that I get traffic to, and people are actually using it, and I've done iterations of it, and I took a very agile approach to it instead of waterfall. Oh wow, we want to hire this guy. So. Node or Java, which one will pay more in the future? They're both going to pay great, but you'd have to look it up. Probably Java, but I wouldn't want to work in Java. Yeah. Okay, so you say I should build projects while I'm still in high school. What kind of projects take 3 to 4 years to build? Ones that you build upon, right? So let's say, Armin, that you start a blog. That's a project. And you're continually working on this blog and your skill set for the blog, and you're revamping the website. My YouTube channel is my side project, right? I've been working on my YouTube channel for 3.5+ years. Maybe you have, try and think of something that you'll enjoy working on for several years. Like, the issue you're having right now is you think this is a job. You're having a hard time. 3 to 4 years. Oh my God. It's like when you enjoy it, man, it's just part of your life. It's a hobby. Find a project that can become a hobby that you'll enjoy. If you're passionate about MMA, somehow find out how to build something MMA related. Maybe build a MMA API, build a MMA news site. I don't know, but find something that you're passionate about and that it's going to be a hobby and not a chore or a job. Are data structures more important for Java developer than JS developer during the interview process? I would say it depends on the organization. Definitely for a Java developer position, usually you're going to have more data structures just because you have more data structures, right? In JavaScript, there are less data structures than a lot of other languages. And most organizations will test you on your problem solving abilities. Will TypeScript stay here for a while, or is it just a temporary crutch? What are your thoughts? I think it'll be here for a short bit. Especially why Angular is such a popular framework. My thoughts with it are that eventually it will get phased out. I live in a fantasy realm where JavaScript gets types. That's where I live, and I think eventually JavaScript stops being a dynamically typed language. So once that happens, maybe it adopts a lot of the functionality of TypeScript. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'm living. Maybe I'm crazy. But I don't know. How much time do you think it would take a novice to get good enough with JavaScript in general? Good as in professionally good. It all depends on how much time you actually put in, right? So like I put in 4 hours a day and then like 10 on the weekends building things, because it's not just JavaScript. You have to get comfortable with JavaScript. You have to get comfortable with HTML, CSS, HTML5 APIs. You have to get comfortable with Git, maybe like a preprocessor, style preprocessor like Sass or Less. You have to get comfortable with a framework. So it's like you add all that in, but really you can go watch a 1 hour video. My course that I did, I broke down all the JavaScript to 7.5 hours. You watch all that, you're able to memorize it. JavaScript. It's about how you use it and practice it. So it's different for everybody, right? Hey, buddy. How did you handle getting comfortable with YouTube videos? Did you have any anxiety at first when being in front of a camera? Or did presenting come naturally to me? No, I had horrible anxiety. Not anxiety. Anxiety is the wrong word. So if you watch, originally I had the channel started by me just sort of narrating my code, and it was just a way for me to get better, right? I narrate it, I go through it, it helps. I do it again, I do it, I narrate it, and there's really no opinion. The hard part was when I had to sort of, okay, now it's about what I think and what I'm learning, and you get to learn a little bit more about me, and that was really uncomfortable for a lot of reasons for me. Because it's not now I'm putting myself out there, I guess. I'll tell you a story I just found out yesterday at lunch. One of my managers, it's not so one of my managers at lunch told me, he's like, did I ever tell you about when you got hired? And I was like, no. What? He's like, yeah, my current tech lead said, I applied, they saw my resume, they checked out my videos, and they're like, this is the guy, let's interview this guy. And then the current director of the company said, we can't hire this guy, he's all over the place, right? And so they had to convince the director, right? There's not my current director, but the director at the time, that I was worth interviewing, because I'm a little bit of a spaz. I get it. When do you start making videos? When I was still in college and a college dropout. Yeah. But yeah, when I was still in school. Maybe about 6 to 7 months, 6 months to a year before I dropped out of college. What skill level is required for entry level front end engineer? It depends on organizations, right? You know, it depends on how much they want. But like, if you can't do FizzBuzz, that would probably be the baseline. Thoughts on Fallout 76? I haven't had a chance to really dive into it, man. Um, I haven't played it. I'm not a big Fallout guy. Was video something you always had an interest in doing, or do you just feel it was something you want to use to build a portfolio? So no, I never had any interest. Sort of. I think I've talked about this a couple times before, but for those of you, Matt and I, Matt Tran, Engineer of Truth on YouTube. He and I go like 20 years back. Like we've been boys since the 6th grade, and so he was coming over to my apartment with or April and I's apartment, really her apartment because she was paying the bills at the time. And so he's coming over, once a month, come hang out, and he was doing YouTube full time, and he was essentially saying, "Yeah, man, I'm making like $300 a month." The next time he was like, "Yeah, man, I'm making $500 a month," and then, "Yeah, man, I'm making $600 a month." It's just like every month it's going up like $100, and finally I was like, you know what? I'm already doing these coding tutorials. Let me just record them and throw them out there. Like at the very least, what I can do is get a video portfolio out there. It'd be a cool project. It'll probably make me a better developer. And if I can make it into a portfolio item, great. And if it makes me some money, dope. But that was really it. I saw Matt's success with it, and I said, I can do that. Why can't I? Why can't I go and just do something similar, but in my own fashion, right? My own version. And that's sort of what happened. What I usually do in my free time, work. Right now, for the last 6 weeks or so, it's been a lot of house stuff, right? Getting furniture, putting furniture together, setting up new bills, transferring money, all that sort of crap. But yeah, it's work. YouTube's sort of what I do in my free time, and outside of YouTube, I study. Yes, I do want to be a teacher once I stabilize my wealth. Did I say stabilize my wealth? That is an excellent way to define exactly what I'm trying to accomplish financially. I need to stabilize my wealth. I really like that. Why would I want to be a teacher when I can make more money working? Because I only need so much money and so much passive income. Once I'm generating $10,000 a month passively, I don't really need to work anymore. So like I would be a teacher just because it's something to do. I'll probably be generating I would say by 2030, at the latest, I should have $10,000 a month of passive income. I think that's a realistic expectation. So within 11 years, ideally by the time I'm 40, which would be in 9 years, I'm giving myself a little bit of a buffer. So really, all I'm trying to do is generate $1,000 of semi-passive income a year, and we're good. So. After that, I mean, you don't need more. Look, guys, you don't need more than 120 grand a year when you have your house paid off, when you have your when you have a house paid off, you don't need more than 100 grand a year. You don't. So like, I'm not one of those guys that like I need to be making $1 million. Why? 100 grand a year, I can buy a new house all the time. Like once you have one paid off that's generating you income and you have other things generating income, you always need more. No, see, that's the wrong mindset. That's because people let their lifestyles grow out of control. So, um, the property taxes, I was saying, the property taxes pay, do generate a quite a bit of money. I'm not gonna lie. Um, but yeah, um, yeah. So my goal is to pay the house off in 3.5 to 5 years. Ever thought about utilizing the new YouTube join button in concurrence to your Patreon? Absolutely. Except it's only available to gaming channels and to non-gaming channels at 100,000 subscribers. So I don't qualify yet. But I'll definitely throw it on there, man. All the YouTube money goes towards helping pay for the house. So and that's the thing, is like, right, so Russ is like passion's greater than finances. So I absolutely agree, right? And you know, the best way to get good at finances is to just follow your passions and find a way to make money with it. So, like, my passion generally is just continuing to learn and software. I really do enjoy it. And it's something that I can spend the rest of my life doing. I'd probably be pretty happy. And I going to build projects. I'm going to, there's so many things that I want to do with it. I want to go start I want to teach eventually. I want to speak at meetups. I want to go to conferences and talk at conferences and yada, 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 write books, build courses. Um, so any smart man or woman would say, hey, money's not everything, but my passions are, right? Things I'm passionate in life and the things I love are. So why don't I think of a way that I can follow my passions while still turning a profit? I'm currently in a boot camp. What are some things outside of purely coding that would be helpful? Probably practicing the general interview questions, right? Um, why are you looking for a new opportunity? Why do you want to work here? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Being prepared for those types of general phone screens and culture interviews, as well as doing a little bit of research on getting your LinkedIn together, getting your portfolio together, getting your personal website together, all that sort of stuff. Advice for college students studying software systems development: try to graduate with as little debt as possible. And when you graduate, don't think your learning is over. It is just beginning. And I hope you started a side project while you were in college, because that's what you're going to need to get hired most of the time. See, Russ, your statement is a little bit skewed. Keep doing something you love until someone starts paying you to do it. I would say keep doing something you love um, until while it's making you money. I guess it's better to generate your own income than to rely on an employer. That's the thing that I don't necessarily agree with. Like, that statement is like, oh well, get an employer to pay for it. That's maybe not your intent, but it's not your quote, but for the most part, generating your own income is much better. Oh man. What is with the dedicated April? She put up the blinds. They're the stuff behind me. So I told her I'd dedicate the stream to her. Just having some fun. I'm doing great, man. Yeah. I've never found anything I like enough to call a passion. I'll be 40 in a year. That's because you never looked. You never tried. Never put yourself out there. A lot of times you have to try some things. People think like you're going to just randomly things are going to happen. You're going to like, oh my God, how did I know that breakdancing was my thing? It's like, no, you just got to try things and you'll find that you start liking stuff, right? So you try breakdancing, you try sports, you try painting. You just have to actually invest time and energy. You can't, I honestly don't think anyone can really find out what their passions are without spending a couple months doing things. And so a lot of times people just don't do that. If they don't feel like they're gifted at something immediately, then it's one of those items where they just give up. That's not for me. So it's the same thing with like people who go to college for a lot of years, where they just think their major is going to choose them. I was one of those people, where, oh yeah, it's just going to hit me one day. Nothing ever just hits you one day. Life isn't something of chance. Life is there are things that will happen to you, good and bad, but for the most part, you choose your path. And if you're unhappy with it, you have to look within, right? Where did I get my drive from? Just being broke. Really? How many mentors? Not really, man. I mean, I just, for the most part, I try to just be a better version of myself every year. So it's just one of those items where I just got sick of being broke. I want to get better, and that was it. Is it psychologically beneficial to become public on YouTube? How have you changed after you start vlogging? I would say I'm probably more open with my opinions, but I think that was probably always the case. I'd like to think that I haven't changed too much, man. I really try to push honesty and being humble. That's really it. I guess. Project management app, a good project to impress employees. Yeah, just make sure you have like a full CRUD functionality. That'll be good for you and employers. I can relate to the broke part. Is it safe to assume you got sick and tired to the point where all you wanted was success? Yeah, man. I mean, I was sick of not doing stuff that I didn't want to do, and I was sick of being broke. I was ashamed of myself. I was embarrassed, and I just remember looking in the mirror thinking, how did I let my life get to this? How did I become such a piece of shit? And then you have those rock bottom moments, or at least I did, where you say, never again will I let this happen. Never again. And it's pretty safe to assume never again is gonna be taken care of. So yeah. I feel lost with what to do. I've taken multiple courses for CSS and I still struggle to convert it design to code. Any advice? Just start building things. Stop trying to just continually do it. Like my guess is you're doing a course, you're not really paying attention. Just start to build your own stuff and then go back to converting a design, but every day, every single day. Were you with April back when you were broke? Yeah. April and I have been dating almost 9 years. So I have delivered pizzas for like 6 of the 9 years, or 5 of the 9 years that we've worked together. April has been with me since I've worked at Papa John's. Not Papa John's, Domino's. I did like 4 or 5 years at Domino's. I did construction. That was like a temporary thing. So April's been with me where her and I were sleeping on a couch together, man. So anything can be built by one person, Armin, as long as they're continually doing incremental changes. Yeah, man. April and I have been through the bad times, the good times, and hopefully the great times coming soon. Yeah, I'm only about a third of the way to the success that I want. So we got some. See, title says AMA ignores all questions that aren't about him. I've quite literally answered every single question in chat. Every single question in chat. And because you're rude, we can just go ahead and hide you because you're salty, dude. We don't like salt. The only person who hands out salt on this channel is me. All right. That's the thing, man. There really is a sense of entitlement with people, right? I'm literally here answering question after. You guys want to know about me and my journey? Fine, man. The journey is important, right? I got no problem. You want to ask me about questions? Cool, I'll answer those too. But just because you're unhappy with your life, that's all it stems from. This person's unhappy with their life. Yeah. That's the thing is, we live in a great society and a great time where you can actually just remove negativity from your life. We don't have to deal with that here, right? So I don't want to say that. Are you going to get married, or is that really not your type of thing? I don't know, man. I don't. April wants to get married. But I don't. Here's the thing: is like there's no real benefit. Like I may do it just because April wants to do it, but like I don't see the benefit. So the essential web developer course, I don't know. I haven't checked it out. I would say more so just check it out, see if it matches up with the core fundamentals, see if it matches up what skills are on the job market, and go from there, man. If I'm willing to apply 100 jobs a day for positions anywhere in the country, which is exactly what I did, how I ended up in Florida, what is the minimum amount of knowledge that I need to get a junior position? Well, if we're talking about front-end development, it's going to be HTML, CSS. It's going to be JavaScript. It's then going to be a framework, a little bit of Git. I'd recommend that you throw in at least some testing with like Jasmine so that you can get comfortable writing unit tests. So I don't know, man. One thing, and this is something that I struggled with as a teenager, so I truly understand it. Is a I understand the sense of being entitled, right? Um, and because I had this issue as a teenager, and nobody on this channel is entitled to my time. Nobody. Just because you watch the channel doesn't mean you're entitled to my time. This is something that I do as because I enjoy it, because I think it helps the software community. But no one has earned a right to my time. You can pay for my time. My time will cost $125 an hour, and we can have one-on-one times. But the act of people like this guy who thought he was entitled to my time is that he's out of his mind. Out of his mind. He thinks he's entitled to my time. And it's unfortunate. Since that's one of the reasons you have to be humble in life, because you will scare away people who want you to be a better person when you're not. And you'll lose friends and you'll lose allies. So my hope is that people understand that entitlement, especially in this sense, is a funny thing. So Jay Goldie says Dylan was helping with everything before I even understood what business casual work was. Workwear was. Solid, people. I appreciate the $5, man. That's one more brick off this house, baby. You just bought that brick on the side of the house right there. I'm gonna go sign it. I'm gonna put a little Jay Goldie on it. But I appreciate that, man. No, I'm not talking about you, Jonas. Jonas, I know you're just playing around. I'm talking about this guy earlier. How many bricks left? All of them. Let's see. We started with 250,000 bricks. We now have 249,995 bricks left. Hey, baby. Buy a new house. Congrats. Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah. We've been in it. Just did our first mortgage payment. Have I ever participated in a Skype interview? Several. Some tips to succeed in one: practice and prepare for your algorithms. Prepare to whiteboard things out. Literally solve them in like a notepad. When I interviewed with Google, they literally opened up the Google's version of Word, the Google Docs. When I interviewed with Microsoft, they had me do it in some sort of Microsoft Doc type tool online. Yeah, I think maybe I'll do a Dawn sketch this weekend. I've been meaning to do a house tour. I've been meaning to do a house tour video. I haven't got to it quite yet. Maybe when April gets back from the store, she can help me film. We'll see. I don't know. You guys want a house tour video? Have a good one, Kevin. I appreciate the support, man. What do you think about data science, Chris? I think you make some fat checks. There's like 2 specialties that you can go into that are going to be that are going to just have a ton of jobs and pay money out the ass. DevOps and data science is is both of them. So like if I was to say like the 3 careers, and they're all tech related, right? But it would be like DevOps, data science, then just like general software engineering. But it is the barrier entry. DevOps is different. It's not bad, but the barrier of entry to data science, it's gonna be a little harder because it's so math heavy. Surprised the cat isn't there yet. We got Milo is actually sleeping. Right, I don't know if you guys can see him. He's sleeping right here. And the other 2 are running about somewhere doing their shit. Did I have good knowledge of SQL or Mongo when I got my first job? I had okay knowledge of MongoDB. I've forgotten it all since then, just because you build side projects and you move on different technology stacks. Baseline knowledge of SQL. I want to say I had some SQL classes in college or like related stuff, but I've forgotten it all. I have to practice again. Is it better to have an associate degree in web development or go to boot camp? I'd say go to a boot camp. Mainly because you're just wasting your time getting an associate degree. It's bachelor's or nothing. That's the truth of the matter. Your associate degree isn't going to do anything for you. So you're better off accelerating your learning and getting a more realistic curriculum. Have a good one, Russ. Yeah, associates aren't worth, at least in the U.S. Associates aren't worth shit. Mr. Stone says, my associates in arts is really helping me to prep, cook, and do dishes at the stadium here until 2 o'clock in the morning. Got to be able to laugh at yourself. Do you think Thinkful's data science bootcamp is worth the money? I don't know. I haven't checked it out. What do you think about performance engineering careers using tools like LoadRunner and other testing tools? Honestly, I would say that's part of a job and not a career, right? So like, I just had to do some performance stuff for the project that I'm working on. And so you look into things, you look into tools, you look into resources, you see how you can save, you see how you can, refactor. And so I don't know that it's a full-time gig most of the time. It's probably something where you got a couple of years experience, and you transition to this role for a mega corporation where tenths of a second, like Amazon costs them millions of dollars if they can prevent it. Yeah, you're totally wasting your time with associate's degree. You should just go straight for your bachelor's or nothing at all. The time, energy, and money you're putting into getting that associate's degree, if you put into self-teaching yourself, actually put that time, energy, going meetups, everything else, and you get a much larger return. So, any suggestions for boot camps in Dallas? I do not have any. But some boot camps offer housing, like Dev Mountain, so you can get up and go. So you don't necessarily have to stay in Dallas. Although I think Dev Mountain has a Dallas campus, if I remember correctly. Yeah. 25,000 and with the BA ain't bad, man. Minus the 4 years you put into get that. Yeah. I've worked with many history majors who have done the same thing, Mr. Stone, where they've gone Meaning I say like 2 people I know got history degrees, and then they're like, holy shit, how am I going to pay off this 50 grand in loans? And all I can do is make, 38,000 as a history teacher. And then they go and they go learn coding, and then they become my coworkers. How do I find meetups? Meetups.com. So is it? I think it's meetup.com. That'd be your best place to find some. But all right, guys, I appreciate it as always. I hope you found this beneficial. I hope you enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure. I have to go back to my grind. I got to go film my solid video, the next Code Like a Pro series, mini series coming out, solid, which will have 6 videos. And after that, I don't know what I'll do for the next 6 weeks, but so that'll be the next videos for the next 6 weeks. And in the meantime, I will be working on a Ionic tutorial today, and hopefully start building out this app I want to build. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.